This year's reaching its midpoint with a handful of great games under its belt, but a formidable future still waits, and now the first harbinger arrives, hopefully shedding light on what to expect, or in this case, darkness. The darkness has been waiting, brooding with cool powers, radical demons, and all the gratuitous violence you need to make the antithesis of a romance novel. Now it's here, but is it ready to step into the light?
Sir, get out.
The darkness takes the salient points from its comic book heritage and runs with them. Some liberties are taken, but it's safe to say that it's all been done to make a stronger narrative. And it is strong.
Get ready to your will.
The game starts with your alter ego, Mafioso Jackie, crotch deep in trouble with car chases, bombs, creepy uncles, and birthday cake.
Happy birthday, rat face. You're finally legal.
Most people head to the bar on their 21st birthday, but Jackie manages to inherit demonic powers and the contempt of his adopted uncle and mafia don, Paulie.
You know, you've been a pain in my ass since the day I met you, Jackie. Pissing and moaning about the way I do business. Well, you need to learn.
How convenient. From there on, it's a non-stop ride as Jackie takes on his former family. The supernatural and mysterious darkness keeps this gangster story fresh. Also, the story's home to some great plot twists that generally keep you pressing on, from Manhattan's Lower East Side, through Chinatown, and down to the bowels of the otherworld as Jackie searches for answers, revenge, and perhaps salvation. Non-linear has become a holy grail for games these days, and the darkness tries to get its tentacles around it. The gameplay is similar to Starbreeze's underdog, The Chronicles of Riddick, with a linear plot that plays out in various open areas with side quests. While it worked well in a prison setting, giving illusions of freedom, it's not as successful when the playing field is New York City. There's a huge city to explore, but it feels simultaneously open and closed as there's really no point to visiting a lot of the areas to complete anemic side quests, making the city that never sleeps snore rather loudly as you soldier onward to the next hot plot point. The entire game is designed around the use of light and dark. If you stay in the light too long, Jackie's powers will fizzle, so you're constantly monitoring light sources and taking them out to make sure his demonic pursuits remain viable. Jackie is leveled up by eating the hearts of his victims, but it merely increases the abilities he has instead of giving him new ones. The boss battles are infrequent, and are ultimately more about unique combat scenarios than fighting building-sized creatures. The multiplayer is basically an afterthought, stripping almost everything that makes the darkness and turning it into a formulaic first-person shooter with run-of-the-mill guns and generic maps. It's not all out bad, as you can turn into a Darkling to switch things up, but it's a very vanilla affair that lacks the dark powers that make the single player so interesting. The false sense of freedom comes across as garnish, pretty to look at, but lacking substance, like the multiplayer. Fortunately, the main quest moves at a good pace, even if Jackie doesn't. You'll get around 10 hours of playtime out of the darkness, and the multiplayer doesn't extend the experience much.
What's the password?
Developer Starbreeze has spit-polished the dark into an ambitious gem. All the speaking characters were motion captured while performing their lines to add that extra level of realism.
Paulie's got a hit out on it, so be careful.
Graphic effects are varied and plentiful as each darkness ability triggers a new region of your hypothalamus, setting all the joy centers a titter. And Lefty and Righty, the unofficial names of the two eel tentacles, are filled with a subtle personality. The environments have the same flourish, with unique textures decorating subway walls with graffiti from real artists. Even the loading screens drip with style as Jackie gives a soliloquy about what's going on as the disc spins.
You're the only one I can count on.
The audio complements the visuals, with voice acting from a wide variety of talents, including Tomahawk's Mike Patton as the Infernal Darkness.
You are nothing but my puppet.
Gunshots are meaty, heart-swallowing is properly revolting, and the game even lets you tweak your low-level bass settings. Music is inserted at appropriate areas, but doesn't stand out, except when you're watching the music video channels on the content-rich televisions. The darkness has aesthetics in spades, but some of the mocap actors act like mannequin Cenobite rejects from a bad Hellraiser sequel.
I always knew you were waiting for it.
Jackie has a plethora of execution kills and darkness gifts, making all sorts of cherry stains on the cold, dark concrete. The powers come to you one by one. Same with the Darklings, little critters that can be spawned from dark holes to help you with combat. They're fun to mess around with, but they always seem to be just left of perfect. The tentacle is great for poking out lights, but moving things around is a chore. The creeping dark stealth mechanic is awesome, and so is retracting it to your side, but crawling on walls and surfaces is often disorienting. The black hole, the last ability, comes later in the game, but almost unbalances it, acting as sort of a surrogate grenade that you can practically spam if you stay in the shadows. The Darklings tend to do their jobs, but prepare for the gunner to shoot you in the back a few times before going off to dry hump a corpse. The control always feels a little loose no matter how much you tweak the sensitivity, and you'll need to make an uneasy truce with the auto-aim for shooting out all the troublesome lights that sap Jackie's power. Not that he's in much of a hurry, he cruises around at a single speed, slightly above walking, but well below a trot. Get ready to run and gun, well, walk and gun, murder and maim, all from the comfort of the shadows, and do it in style. The controls aren't exactly tight, but the Darkness is one of those games where the whole isn't necessarily the sum of its parts. The Darkness is an ambitious game that provides an extremely unique experience. It's like a great amusement park ride, fun while it lasts. But peel off that shiny paint and pause the adrenaline rush, and you see that there's some core problems hiding in the shadows, like underlying structure and play that just don't completely congeal. Even so, it's a hell of a ride, and it's hard not to be forgiving and embrace the Darkness.